Today we'll be giving a speech on why students should not be required to go to school for a minimum number of hours. My audience is a Texas education agency, and my organizational strategy is an historian. Is it possible that we are harming our students by keeping them in classrooms for an exorbitant amount of time? After analyzing student workload, time wasting, and student health, it can be concluded that we are keeping kids in school for an unnecessary amount of time. First, let's look at student workload. A 2007 MetLife study identified the fact that 45% of students in 3rd grade through 12th grade spend over an hour on homework every night, and 6% of that 45% spend over 3 hours. When you add that to the time that they're already in school, it brings it to a higher number than most adults are working, and it teaches them that they should spend more time, that they're going to be spending more time working in their childhood than they are in their adult life. We're not teaching them values that are accurate to what actually goes on whenever they're adults. Additionally, we're wasting their time. For example, in most of my class periods, I'm doing nothing only to go home and have hours and hours of homework. We need to fix this problem. We need to have shorter class periods, thus shorter days, leading to more time to work on homework. So the overall average amount of time that I'm spending on my education is the same amount of time that my parents are spending working. In your most recent bill, you state that a school is only required to give 75,600 minutes of school time, including intermissions and recess. This means that a school could legally spend 2 hours teaching and 5 hours watching movies, but as long as they meet the required amount of time and their students pass the required tests, even if it's not with necessarily good test scores, they're eligible for funding. Why should this school be eligible for funding when a school that maybe spends 4 hours teaching but has immaculate test scores can't receive funding? It doesn't make any sense, and it's very, very flawed logic. Additionally, we are affecting the health of our students. A National Public Radio article explains the story of Colleen Franey. She was experiencing breakdowns and having much emotional trauma from the stress that honors classes and AP classes were putting on her in high school. She was taken out and put into homeschool, and the less time-consuming and difficult environment actually caused her to be able to take the same classes, but no stress was involved. Angela Hanscom, a therapist from Maryland, put herself in a situation similar to those that students experience in classrooms in their every single day. She was sitting down for what she said was an excruciating 90 minutes, and she began to fidget and realized that she couldn't pay attention any longer. She is, like Jesse Stevens explains, a perfect example that students shouldn't be able to sit in classrooms for such a long amount of time if adults can't even do it. Todd Elder researched and discovered that 20% of children who are diagnosed with ADHD are misdiagnosed. This means that they are being given medication that is completely unnecessary and is not only negatively affecting their health, but is wasting money. This is illogical. Why instead of just shortening school hours and making school less vigorous, do we put these kids on medication and make them have breakdowns and make them constantly be stressed and have so much time of their day wasted, not being able to be a part of their family or to be able to learn about the world, but instead they're learning about differential equations and how to identify the parts of a cell? That doesn't make any sense. Really, I just believe that we're putting too much on our children, and we need to change something. After all, aren't you in it for the kids' benefit?